This is the third day I've been working on installing this deep cycle battery in my Hilux, old Hilux. It's a 2003 3.4. So this is a plate I've made up to hold the battery, and this is the position I'm putting it in. It's the only position available in the truck. I presume this is the map sensor doodad, so it just fits in between here and the brake booster. This here is my cruise control, so it used to be bolted up here where the battery's going, so I made a new bracket over there that holds, it just fits in that corner there for the cruise control. And I just had to hammer this down a little bit here to get so the battery would it just misses by 10 mil now up in here where this comes down. And so I'm going to have 3 bolts going through there, and that's just packed up with a couple of washers there for this hole, and I'm going to weld a piece of angle along here, or a piece of flat along there, and then make a bracket to go off that down onto this bolt here. And then I've got to put another piece across underneath here that I'm going to put some pieces going up where I can put the clamp, bolt the clamp down into. So if anyone wants to put a battery in an old Hilux 2003, it's a pretty big job. Anyway, the battery size I'm putting in is it's basically 200 that way, 200 by it's 165 exactly, and it's 175 high. Yeah, a bit cold here today. Got a tarp up there so I can work on the truck without the rain getting on me, but hopefully it doesn't rain too much today. But it's the wind coming off Antarctica. Anyway, got this bit made now with angle welded on with a strengthening piece across the bottom, and the piece for the other bolt. So just going to bolt that in now and drill a hole in that. Hopefully that part will be finished. Had to make up a clamp here to pull that wire across out of the way too. This big cable, this big bunch of cables here. That's fitting pretty good now. So next thing I've got to do is make some brackets to come up. I've got to make a bracket to come out up here for the clamp that holds the battery in, and this one here is going to have to come up with an offset in it to try and get it away from the battery terminals. There's the finished product. Now just got to see if it fits. I've used these flathead bolts, like an Allen key in the end, Allen or whatever you call that, and yeah, I bought these for another project, but they've been pretty handy. And I'm going to use this thin insertion rubber and try and transfer the positions of them and cut holes where that goes, and then put another layer of insertion rubber over the top of that. And I reckon that should take up any unevenness, because they don't stick up. They're about the same thickness as the insertion rubber. And then I've got to, once I get this battery bolted in, I've got to find somewhere to put this kick-ass dual sensing, well, it's a regulator for connecting the two batteries together. The only place I can find is in there, so I'm going to have to make up more brackets to go in there to hold that. Yeah, there's not much room in there. She's pretty packed in. How I transferred these over, I just used some silicone grease, so you know, hopefully it doesn't affect the, well, it doesn't affect rubber, and well, it shouldn't do, and it seems to have transferred those over pretty good. Yeah, I've just cut those holes out with this little craft knife. Not real pretty, but yeah, the only punch I had was just a bit too big. It's a little cheap kit from eBay I've had sitting around for years. Yeah, I've just roughed that up a bit, that insertion rubber, with a bit of sandpaper, and cut it out with a good old whisk snips. You need to be pretty new to cut stuff like that. And so yeah, I'm just about to whack a bit of contact glue on there, and then I'll glue both pieces of insertion rubber on there, and then we'll be able to whack the battery in. Get the second layer glued up ready there. Got a layer on the top bracket that holds the battery in, and yeah, got this section ready to glue. I usually put that contact glue on with my fingers. It seems to be the easiest way. This is the finished product. Yeah, she only just fits in there, but she's nice and sturdy. Now I've got the next job is to put the regulator doodad thing over there, and make some more brackets over there, and then wire it all up. We've got wires going everywhere all over the firewall here. Got the bracket made for there. So it bolts onto the side of the mudguard, and down on the bottom of that mudguard there's already a hole down there. It's a regulator doodad bolted in there. Just bolts down in there, in behind the wires. I just need some wires now between this and that battery, that battery, and that thing. Got this great tool a while back for holding your wires while you solder them. It's you just it has these two little clamps that just hold your wires together, and you can adjust the distance apart. I think it's one of the best things I've ever bought. Okay, finally got it finished. I put some insulation on the battery there, because these gel batteries aren't supposed to handle the heat that good. It's just some leftover stuff I put on from the bonnet. I put stuff on the bonnet because the fan makes such a big noise in this engine. Got a fuse there and a fuse there. This one goes to a couple of Anderson plugs in the back seat where I hook the fridge in, and so the wires used to go here, and I took them over to that battery. Yeah, the good thing about these kick-ass ones is that you just plug these Anderson plugs into them. Anyway, that's the job done. A few more wires across the firewall.